Hello, welcome back to Al Talks. This is episode number 12. I release these, once a week on Tuesday. So because it's episode 12, yeah, I put these out once a week. So at this stage, I've been doing this, you know, this is episode 12, 3 months. And it's mad to think that it's been 3 months. Doesn't feel like it, to be honest. Feels, I don't know, it feels shorter. Like I feel, yeah, like I felt the last couple of, especially last 2 months, say February and March, because we're nearly at the end of March at this stage, have been, have gone by really quickly. And yeah, it's been interesting so far. I like creating videos on YouTube, videos. This is just this podcast, but it's been an interesting journey so far. I've set up an Instagram page for the podcast as well. I'll put a link down below, and I'll go back and edit the other videos. I'll put links there as well. There's a link to my Facebook page and the next episode of the podcast in every video. So yeah, we'll gonna be on Instagram now. Well, I am on Instagram now, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I'll have that on the Facebook page. I'm not sure, like I was saying, about going out on other platforms yet. I think that's something to think about in the future. I'll speak with my management, I don't have management. The management, you're looking at it. It's me. It's like that one Eastern European on the building site who does everything. He's like, what are you? Carpenter, plumber, plasterer, estimator, it's a inside builder's joke. I'm not a builder, but anyway, there's a bit of comedy for today. So yeah, I watched Coming to America. I think I spoke on a previous episode. Actually, episode 6, 8, and 10. I was talking about Eddie Murphy and how he's planning to make his comeback into comedy. I'm probably sick of hearing Eddie Murphy at this stage from me, but I really enjoy his comedy and his movies, and I'm a huge fan. And so the first Coming to America was released in 1988. When I watched the movie, I thought it was released later, like in the kind of later 90s. I thought it was might be 92, 95 for some reason, because I don't know why, but it was actually 98. Nearly, I watched the two of them. The new one got released this year, a few weeks ago actually, and it's no, they're both great. Like the two of them are great movies. I enjoy them a lot. But me personally, I found that the first one was funnier. Like it had more comedic values, if you want to use that term. The management says no. It had more. For me, it was funnier. Like the guy who played Paul Bates, he played Oha in the movie. He was kind of the royal announcer. He was, it was a very funny character. And the second one, I've thought, I don't know. Obviously, the second one there was still kind of funny points in it, but I mean, I felt the tone of that movie was a lot more serious. And in that movie, Louis Anderson stars. He stars in the both of them, and it was, yeah. I found out about Louis Anderson from from This Is Not Happening, Ari Shaffir's show, where he put up a load of comics. But the premise of that show was they would do bits related to a topic. So he say, today's topic is anger. I think one of them was anger or crime or something. And he would have, the comics do various topics. And that was the first time I seen Louis Anderson on it. I think he did a couple of, times, like 2 or 3 times, where he talks about his brother being a safe crack and the police come to his house and his mom telling him not to rat to the cops and everything else. And, it was very funny. And then I think one day I was kind of looking around at, I was just looking for comedy to watch on YouTube, and I think I was up and suggested videos. Louis Anderson's like, I'd give it a go. And I think it was about 10 minutes into the set that I just burst out laughing uncontrollably. There's very few comedies where I've burst out laughing uncontrollably. One of them is actually another one is Joey Diaz, who I'm a huge fan of Joey Diaz. I always go on about him. Like, I listen to this podcast twice a week, Uncle Joey's Joint. And I'll talk more about Joe Lopez later on in this episode, but to get back on topic of Louis Anderson, like, he's just, I just had uncontrollable laughter, like, and it was only 10 minutes into his hour special. It was amazing special. I really wish I'd been in that crowd then, but so yeah, that was interesting to see. And I realized that, looking at Eddie Murphy and all these movies, I'm not gonna get it won't be the same when he does stand up, but I just want to kind of get a feel and an idea for feeling and an idea for just kind of a rough roundabout idea of where it could lead, possibly. Maybe just kind of have an indication, really. It might carry over, it might not, I don't know, but just a curiosity. And plus I enjoy his movies, so it was a win-win situation in that case. But yeah, I think I'll put a link to Louis' stand-up, the ones I watched. I think I watched 2, 3 of them. I can't actually remember at this stage. But yeah. So what else we got? Yeah. I haven't mentioned it, but you've seen me wearing various band t-shirts in all the different episodes, and my vest covered in patches, and then they go 1 or 2 episodes, can't remember which one exactly. And when I had Gary on as a guest, we talked about going to metal gigs and everything else. I actually have the letters, not the letters, tickets that I have in physical copy. I keep them in these this little envelope thingy. I'll just go through them here quickly. The very first band that I'd seen, metal band, was Cradle of Filth, and then there's another one for Sacred Reich. That was great seeing them, because they've been playing metal for so long, and I really enjoy going to see older bands that are still touring and gigging and everything else. And then the Mona Martin Behemoth, that was really special because it was performed in King John's Castle in Limerick, which is located in Ireland. I'd been to King John's Castle before, and I was, when it got announced the gig got announced, it was like, how are they gonna put the band there? And it turned out great. Really hope they keep using it as a venue for music, especially metal. Carragagran, really enjoyed them. That was a really good night. Corrosion of Conformity. Now this is very special. It's a ticket for Slayer's farewell tour. Now during that gig, I'm going to read the supports out. Lamb of God, Anthrax, and Obituary. Like, how can you go wrong there? I remember seeing, when I was at the gig, it was like every time a band finished playing, I was like, and there's more great stuff. You know, it was like, because Obituary opened up, then it was Lamb of God, then it was Anthrax, then it was Slayer. And after Obituary opened up, it was like, guess who's next? Lamb of God, you know, Anthrax. Anthrax was especially great to see because they were still jumping around stage, because they've been in, you know, I don't know, it's over 30 years, probably nearly 40 years, playing music all around the world, going on tours, all this mad stuff. And it was, you know, and to see Slayer do the farewell tour. Slayer, who, you know, just as Anthrax have been around, they've been around for so long, like, you know, they're one of the big fours of thrash metal. Memoriam. Wait. Oi, bless me. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. Oi, Lordy. Where was I? Yeah. Memoriam was great to see because Carl, the lead singer of Memoriam, used to be in Bull Thrower, and he started a new band, and that was great to see. Motionless in White. A lot of people don't like Motionless in White, but I quite enjoy their music. You know, because they're metalcore, and you know, I enjoy all sorts of music. So this could be a pet peeve for certain people, but not for me. Cannibal Corpse. This theatre that they performed in, called the Tivoli, it's no longer there. It's been knocked down. I think they were doing it as a car park or something, which is a shame. It's actually a pretty good venue. But it was, you know, it was quite an old venue, but it was good nevertheless. Cannibal Corpse, I seen them, I'd say, I seen them, yeah. So yeah, it was, you know, it was crazy to hear Joey Diaz, you know, he talked about in his podcast, The Church Was Happening Now, the first podcast that he did with Lee Sayat, about how he used to go to see, you know, see all these metal bands like Black Sabbath, and I can't, he mentioned other ones, but I can't remember. I specifically remembered hearing him mention Black Sabbath. You know, I think he said the tickets cost like $10 or something. When I was supposedly going to see Ozzy Osbourne, the tickets were like 80, 90 euros, so they ain't $10 anymore, unfortunately. But it just blew my mind, because when I was growing up, people kind of always had this, I don't know, this biased opinion about people who listen to metal, or you were kind of picked on and everything else. And you know, it was kind of, you were kind of put down for listening to it, especially if you dressed like a metalhead, which I do now. Didn't back then. I don't actually know why, to be honest. Well, actually, at the time I was kind of listening to other music. It was metal was a kind of a secondary thing, whereas then nowadays it's primary. It's a primary. Yeah, it's a primary. Oh, sorry, I'm just losing trail of thought. A lot of technical difficulties this time. This is actually the second take of this episode, because the first one, once again, didn't turn the microphone on, which is I don't know why I forgot, because because usually when I turn this on, I plug everything in, I configure everything. I configured the camera, and I was like, I click on the microphone, I got distracted by something, and then so the first episode of this is just video. It's my mouth moving. If there's anyone there, uh, if you want, I can release it, and you can, whoever's good at lip syncing can figure it out from there. But this is the second take. This is why I'm kind of jittery. I'm trying to remember the first video. Um, just like when I had the second take with Gary, that time I had him on as a guest. Yeah, that was fun. Not anyway. Not in the sense of the technical difficulties doing the retake, and it was frustrating. That's why I'm kind of. But yeah, that was it was very uplifting to hear the ideas going about metal like that, especially seeing Black Sabbath. I would have loved to have seen Sabbath, because I'm 29, so I was born in 92, and I wasn't born in the US. Wish I was. USA number one, as they say. Anyway, before I wrap it up, I'm going to talk about. I listened to I think it was. It was. Yeah, it was Bill Burt cast, and George Lopez was on as a guest. Now, I love George Lopez. He's a great comedian. I talked about him in previous episodes. I think. Yeah. I definitely feel I've mentioned it before. I can't seem to hear my notes, but I most definitely mentioned him before. So uh, yeah, when I was listening to that episode, it was funny. I think it was Bill Burr does it with Bert Kreischer, and he asked him um, if his grand, because George Lopez grew up with his grandmother, if his grandmother had ever been to any of his stand up, because he said when he was about 13, 14, he started writing little jokes, a little piece of paper, and his grandma was like, "Oh, you stop doing that, you're wasting your time." He's like, "No, no, I'm gonna be famous, I'm telling you, grandma." And she wouldn't believe him. And then she went to see one of his shows, and he was saying, and they were driving home, and on the drive home, um, she was being silent. She wasn't saying anything. And George was like, "So did you like it?" And his grandma said, she said, "If I'd known it'd be this long, I would have stayed at home," because she felt like it was she didn't want me there for so long. And that, like I was saying with Louis Anderson, that was another laugh out loud moment for me. I was like, "Oh, that's funny," because then he was like, "I do all this work, grandma, and you don't appreciate it," but um, yeah, that's the funny bit from yeah, that's the funny bit from that podcast that I enjoyed. I actually remembered, it's Ali Makovsky's podcast. He had Chase Mason on from Gatecreeper. They're a band I started listening to. They're a death metal band from Arizona. Um, Chase and Ali. Well, Ali was in Arizona. They matched on a dating site. They never started dating, but they became friends. And I'm only become a recent fan of theirs, so it was really interesting to see him talk about how he got into metal and all of that. That was really interesting. And yeah, Gatecreeper, a great band. If but I might put up a link in down below if anyone is interested. I don't know how many people that listen to this podcast listen to metal. If you're interested, I'll throw that link in there so you can check them out. Um, yeah, that podcast that he was on with Ali was really good. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and yeah, I'm just looking at the time. This has become the longest podcast I've ever done. I thought I had nothing prepared for this one. That's what happens when I talk about metal. Maybe we can make it an hour long, just me keep talking about metal. No, we're not going to do that. The management says no. Management is me. I can do whatever the fuck I want, and I will. Um, so yeah, so I think that's it pretty much. Um, like I said, these kind of again ideas throughout the week, and then I record. I have no idea what next week's episode is going to be about. Surprised this one has been as long as it has. So yeah, so I'm gonna put links to all the things I said I would. You know, my Instagram, my Facebook, Gatecreeper, Leeway Anderson. Yeah, by the way, if you haven't watched Coming to America 1 or 2, definitely check it out. They're both on Amazon Prime. So yeah. Another thing, VidHit, please sponsor me. I love your drinks. People who listen to this go on VidHit's Instagram, their Twitter, their Facebook, annoy them, ask them to sponsor Al Talks podcast. I will promote the absolute shit out of that drink. The green one is the best. There's no argument. Apple elderflower for the win. Yeah, that's that. Thanks for watching or listening, whichever ones you do. And we'll be back next week on Tuesday. If not, I'll let you know on Facebook or Instagram because I'm on there now. Okay, bye.